In peace, first of all, I am honored and humbled by the opportunity to contribute to the Uniting Against Racism and the New Cold War online panel discussion today. I want to thank Danny Haifang for extending the invitation and thinking enough of me to ask for my input in the discussion. To the other distinguished contributors, many of whom I personally admire, I am thankful for your work and contributions made in the promotion of peace and justice initiatives throughout the world. We want peace. The year 2020 has seen the world struck still by a global pandemic. No population of people on the planet has gone unaffected by COVID-19. Equally, all nations have been hit with varying levels of the virus, some experiencing greater levels of severity than others. In the US, the response has been abysmal. The fallacy of having a society centered on profits in all aspects of life has cost thousands of people their lives. The coronavirus has exposed how ill-prepared a hyper-capitalist nation such as the United States is to handle a serious public health crisis. It has truly been astonishing to witness the ineffective leadership, the mixed messaging from the media, and the refusal of certain citizens to perform a simple act of public safety by wearing a mask. The global response has been quite a different story. Nations like China, Senegal, and New Zealand all quickly organized around controlling the spread of the virus because the central concern was the health of its people. We saw countries who prioritized the well-being of their citizens move swiftly to contain and address the needs of their people in a moment of crisis. We witnessed Cuba and China sharing medical experts and their associated expertise with nations who sought help in combating the virus. Nations such as those mentioned and many others see a shared future in the world. Combating illness and infectious diseases aligns most sensible nations in a collective call to action. On this accord, nations have found ways to work together and build relationships that are fortified by the common interest of the greater good. It is in this spirit we stand against the new Cold War. Those of us who are organized by peace and seek justice in our lives, and those of our fellow citizens stand in solidarity. As a global community, we have shared interests more than ever before. With the impending climate catastrophe, endless wars, COVID-19, coupled with global homelessness and poverty yet to be eradicated, the world community now, more than ever, must work together to ensure humanity survives. The United States continues to be unwilling to work with other nations on peaceful ground and fair relations. As the political powers domestically wrestle over power, relations with the international community continue to be strained and leading the nation down the wrong road. As Chris Hedges wrote, the American empire is coming to an end. The nation has lost the power and respect needed to induce allies in Europe, Latin America, Asia, and Africa to do its bidding. Add the mounting destruction caused by climate change, and you have a recipe for an emerging dystopia. Overseeing this descent at the highest levels of the federal and state governments is a motley collection of imbeciles, con artists, thieves, opportunists, and warmongering generals. And to be clear, I include the Democrats. We want peace here at home and across the world. Domestically, the United States has just conducted an election in which the president and many in his leadership have refused to publicly acknowledge these results. This administration has given rise and space to the racist underbelly that many imagined magically disappeared because we had a president that listened to Earth, Wind, and Fire and shot hoops in his spare time. Racism continues to be a national pastime of the United States. The summer saw an explosion of protest against the unjust killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor at the hands of racist police. People all over the world flooded the streets in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement and to protest state-sanctioned violence. The United States has never appeared to be more dysfunctional and disjointed than it is now, and its only concern should be correcting its own issues. With a crumbling infrastructure, a failing for-profit healthcare system, deep structural racism, and severe economic inequality, the United States needs to more now than ever before focus all of its energy at home. First, in creating economic opportunities for its citizens by adopting more socially democratic policies that ensure the most vulnerable citizens have protections. In the words of the late, great Dr. James Cone, One's poverty should not be the last say-so about one's humanity. Second, the United States should seek to become a peaceful member of the international community once and for all. It must move beyond the imperial lust and attitudes that caused the illegal invasion of Iraq. These attitudes persist as the U.S. continues to threaten global peace and security with militarism and childish posturing. Lastly, the United States should use the pending climate crisis to show the world it is ready to build toward a shared future on common ground. No greater issue faces the global community like that of climate change. It's the one thing we can't afford to be idealized around or harbor outdated colonial attitudes when addressing. We want peace. We want justice. We stand against the new Cold War. There's nothing to be gained and too much to lose in a Cold War reality. At this moment in history, all nations should be fighting to stop the spread of COVID, working together to take on climate changes, and have clear and concise plans on how to best serve the needs of its citizens now and into the future. This is the path of peace. This is the path of justice. And these are the sentiments the peoples of the planet strive for and aim to achieve. It's time to recognize that we are all interconnected and a shared future is the only way forward. In peace.